Changes to the Dolphins' depth chart and roster may be coming with 2 games remaining. Miami's out of the playoff race, and it sounds like Mike McDaniel and his coaching staff are going to give more opportunities to some players that haven't seen a lot of playing time through the first 15 games of the season. I mean, we already saw this kind of shift in thinking this past Sunday when Quinn Ewers got the start, although McDaniel says that was because he gave the Dolphins the best chance to win. But Theo Weiss, the wide receiver, UDFA, who was on the practice squad all year long, had a great connection in the preseason with Quinn Ewers, and they worked together back in the Dallas high school flag 7-on-7 days, and he's already getting playing time. And you saw Nick Westbrook-Keeney mention this, that he was told he was going to be inactive on Sunday against Cincinnati because they wanted to give other young wide receivers a look like Theo Weiss Jr. So clearly, Miami is going to start prioritizing playing some rookies or young guys who have been hidden in the past on the Dolphins depth chart. Specifically, Derek McLendon, who is a second-year edge rusher, spent the preseason in Miami. McDaniel said that he is going to get an increased chance to play, maybe some other practice squad guys, but mentioned McLendon by name as a top option. And I will want to say this real quick. Mike McDaniel cracks me up. He said when they made the move to Quinn Ewers that the only reason why they made the move is not for 2026 reasons, but no, it was because Quinn Ewers gave Miami the best chance to win on Sunday against Cincinnati. He's looking at what and who gives the Dolphins the best chance to win on a week-to-week basis. But now is admitting that he wants to give other new young players a look, which is completely contradicting what he said, because if you really wanted to win, you would play the experienced veterans that have a lot of experience in the NFL. Just wanted to throw that note in there. That's why sometimes when you hear the coaches and GMs speak, 80% of it is coach speak and lying through their teeth. Just throwing that out there. But make sure you follow us over on social media. On Instagram, Dolphins Today IG is our handle. On Twitter /X, @Nick_Roloff. We have more coverage on Miami outside of our YouTube videos there, so go give us a follow. But specifically on Derek McLendon, I actually am intrigued with what he could potentially do for Miami in the final 2 weeks of the year if he's active for both games, because he was pretty solid in the preseason. He played in all 3 preseason games for Miami, 97 snaps. We all thought there was a high chance he ultimately made the 53-man roster because of his preseason performance. I mean, he had 8 tackles in those 97 snaps with 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, and 4 pressures. And if you go back to his preseason statistics with the Panthers in 2024, when he was actually a rookie, he had another sack and a handful of pressures in that preseason stint. And our pass rush this year has stunk. Like, it just has. Bradley Chubb has not really been that productive over the last month or so, ever since the trade deadline. Chop Robinson has been a disappointment. The best pass rusher for Miami as of late has actually been Zach Sealer, has a sack in 3 straight games, but you didn't see Quentin Bell and Cam Good really do anything on Sunday against Cincinnati either. So giving a different player a different look like Derek McLendon makes a lot of sense to me. And we might be seeing more changes on the horizon as well, because you have starters missing practice on Wednesday. Aaron Brewer was a DNP. He's played every game for Miami at center this year. Minkah Fitzpatrick missed the game on Sunday against Cincinnati. He'll probably miss again this week. And then Dee Eskridge at wide receiver. And I think we're going to have a new look wide receiver room. I'd expect Theo Weiss Jr. to get another opportunity for Miami this week against the Buccaneers, because we know that he has a connection with Quinn Ewers, and that connection, I'd like to explore it. But we're probably going to see Tahj Washington again. We haven't seen him since the Thursday night game against the Baltimore Ravens. So that's a wide receiver that we'll talk about here coming up in a second that is going to get more opportunities. We are sponsored by Polymarket. It's time to change and challenge the status quo, and Polymarket is now live to help us do so. You can be a part of the revolutionary alternative to sportsbooks with our special invite code. Download Polymarket's new app now via the link that is in the description and comments to unlock exclusive early access and a free $10 in your account with invite code CHAT. Polymarket is a predictive marketplace that allows you to buy and sell trades on live sporting events. You see it on the app right here. And you know what you can also do? You can do it live in games. If you don't like how it's going, you can buy, you can sell, you can do it all on Polymarket. Polymarket, lowest fees ever. You trade against other people, not the platform. You can cash out anytime and react to momentum swings within the game. You are in control. It's legal and available nationwide in all 50 states on their iOS app now. And you can see here for Sunday's Dolphins game, Miami, Tampa Bay, they're giving Miami 32% chance to win. I don't like that. The Buccaneers are fine for a playoff chance. I will be buying on the Tampa Bay side. $10 free is waiting for you. No card right now, no deposit, nothing. Download the app with our exclusive code CHAT at chatsports.com/polymarket for exclusive early access and $10 free. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Yeah, you talk about this projected wide receiver room. I think this is what it's going to look like on Sunday against Tampa Bay. Jalen Waddle, Theo Weiss Jr., Malik Washington, Cedric Wilson Jr., and Tahj Washington. I mentioned it. We haven't seen Tahj Washington since that Thursday night game against the Baltimore Ravens where he had made a costly mistake. And we talked about Derek McLendon being named as a young player that could get more playing time in the final 2 weeks. So was Tahj Washington. McDaniel said that he expects Tahj to be active either this Sunday against Tampa Bay or the final game of the year against New England in Week 18. But, hey, who knows? If he gets activated and is active this Sunday and plays well, maybe he'll be active for the Week 18 game against New England as well. Like, I think he deserves at least another shot. He's been kept on the 53-man roster all year long. He's only been active for 4 games. He has 1 catch for 11 yards. Unfortunately, on that 1 catch, he fumbled. That was in that Thursday game against the Ravens, and that fumble was recovered and returned to the 2-yard line of Miami in that first half. Super unfortunate that Tahj Washington's first catch of his career ultimately is going to be remembered as a costly fumble in a game Miami at the time needed to win. But I do think Tahj Washington deserves another shot, and maybe he'll get that shot this Sunday against Tampa Bay, working with Waddle, Malik Washington, Theo Weiss Jr., and Quinn Ewers. We're going to continue to bring you daily Dolphins content, even during the holiday season, and we'll be live on Sunday for Dolphins Buccaneers Week 17 action. So subscribe and join the channel as we're on the road to 79K. We may be seeing a new starting center for Miami as well for the first time in 2 years. Aaron Brewer has started every single game for Miami since he signed with us in free agency right before the 2024 season. He's been a top 5 center over the past 2 years. I think he's been the best center in football this season, an absolute crime. He was not selected to the Pro Bowl, but the Pro Bowl doesn't really matter to me. It's a flawed system. But he's banged up, and with Miami out of the playoff race, maybe the Dolphins ultimately say, let's rest his lower body injury. He's battled through injuries all year long and go somewhere else. Now, that new starting center would be Andrew Meyer. And you're questioning me and saying Andrew Meyer starting at center. He's on IR. He hasn't played a game all year. Well, it sounds like Mike McDaniel and this Dolphins coaching staff has a ton of trust in the young center. He's an effective blocker. Strength with his skill set and quickness. There's a center arc. You are the closest to the ball when you're covered with a nose tackle. The quickness he possesses is a skill for centers that you can really take advantage of, and you can run and pass in the most vulnerable gap, which is the A gap. I mentioned it. He is still on IR with a tricep injury. If he wants to play this season, he has to be activated to the 53-man roster prior to January 1st. That obviously is just a couple days after this Week 17 game. So he's either going to be activated this week for Week 17 and Week 18, or he's going to be activated for the final week of the year against the Patriots in January. But there is a clear directive and belief from this coaching staff because many people said he was the best offensive lineman for Miami in training camp this year, but then ultimately suffered that injury. You wonder if he never was injured, would he have been the right guard for us all year long, even though they think of him as a center. They say he could play right guard and left guard as well. Could he have been the starting right guard for us all year long with James Daniels out for injury? Certainly a what-if scenario, but we might see him on the field this Sunday and maybe the final week of the year as well. And coming up in just 1 second, Mike McDaniel reveals what he wants to see from Quinn Ewers in his second start as Dolphins QB1. But before we get into what he said, I want to let or I want to hear your thoughts. Do you want the Dolphins to win or lose on Sunday? I know it's difficult to root against your favorite team, but if Miami loses out and the Saints and Bengals each win a game, both teams playing teams picking inside the top 11, well, Miami will climb up to the 8th overall pick. So I could see the reason why you'd want them to lose. But let me want to hear your thoughts, so let me know. Mike McDaniel wants to see growth from Quinn Ewers. That's the biggest thing. Saw some yesterday in practice, he says. He took a step forward with his confidence and disposition. Good word for McDaniel. Didn't know he had that in his bag. Continued progression and his command of the position. Well, I'm excited to see Quinn Ewers as well. He has 2 more opportunities. And it's really crazy to say this, but it's the God's honest truth. If Quinn doesn't perform over the next 2 weeks, he might never, ever get a shot to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Because you only usually get, if you are not a top pick in the draft, you only get a handful of opportunities. If you're a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounder, and you get a chance to start, you have to really dominate those opportunities. And if he is able to do that over the next 2 weeks, he might get a chance to be the starting quarterback in a gap bridge year for Miami in 2026. If he doesn't, though, they'll probably go to the draft or to a vet in free agency. So I really am excited to watch Quinn Ewers over the last 2 weeks of the year to see if he does grow, see if he does have more command, and if the offense continues to improve, because big 2 opportunities for him and Mike McDaniel over the next couple of weeks. That'll do it for today's show. As I mentioned earlier, if you want more on the Fins, go follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Those are my handles. Let me see you over there.